Andy, Jordan Walker, not quite Andre Dawson in right field, but starting to make incremental strides. Had some good plays. What do you think?
Strides?
Yeah, that he could be an acceptable, at least average right fielder next year, and then who knows what he could do the year after.
Well, if he keeps going in the same direction, maybe 3 or 4 years from now, yeah. It's not going to be next year. You're still going to see things that you've seen this year. But if he sticks with it, he's athletic enough.
Good arm. Looks like he has a plus arm.
Here's the thing. He's playing the outfield like an infielder. That's the problem. Right? He's got to get rid of the infield instinctive. The way he catches the ball is not correct. The way he catches the ball over his head with 2 hands is not correct. He's doing things that he been doing his whole life as an infielder, and you got to kind of shed that and start doing things as an outfielder.
You mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and I've tried to pay attention after you brought it up, was the things that come with thousands of reps, and that is developing your instincts.
Yes.
And being able to read the ball off the bat, and those sort of things.
Yeah. He's never seen a ball. And here's the thing. I don't think it's a natural instinct for him, and whether that's going to be developed, we're going to have to wait and see. When you stick Tommy Edman out in center field, you think, man, he's been playing out there his whole life. Mm-hmm. The way he jumps, gets these jumps, the angles, the way he gets around the ball. So, yeah, it's, Jordan's starting to learn and try to get around the ball when he's throwing. He's got a terrific arm. That's the one plus that might keep him out there.
Yeah. And then what are you seeing at the plate? Last 6 games, 571, 3 home runs in his last 4 games. What are you seeing? What's he doing?
Well, he's not chasing as much as he was. I think that's like any young hitter or any hitter that gets in a slump, if you want to call it. Really, what it comes down to is you start expanding. And I would like to see him walk a little more than he does. Obviously, that would be a plus. That would raise his average. He would score more runs. But at 21, it ain't bad. It's not bad.
That's right.
The upside is what you see when you look at the last 5 games. That's the upside. The consistency is what's going to come last.
Yeah, and you think about it, at age 21, to have 2 long hitting streaks and to be on fire and maybe to finish with 18 home runs, if he hits 4 more, as a 21-year-old changing positions. Look, the takeaway from this season, this disastrous season, is that we're seeing the birth of a really good player, a potential star, right?
I think so. He, as big as he is, and he'll make changes in his swing. This is not going to be the same swing 5 years from now that he has now. He is a 30 to 40 home run guy, I believe. He's so big, and he does have quite a short stroke. If he can control the strike zone, he'll be just fine. And that is really the growing pains of any young hitter.
This is an oversimplification, obviously, but the breaking ball away, particularly slider, cutter away, when he can learn to lay off that and then force the pitcher to come back in toward the plate, right?
Well, all good hitters don't swing at it. That's the issue. And if he's going to become a good to a great major league hitter, he won't be swinging at that right-handed slider that's starts in the strike zone and ends up out. That takes time. It actually takes time to learn to take the slider that looks like a ball. It then comes into the strike zone. That's the issue. The angle in which the pitch is coming at you, if it's spinning, if it's sort of towards you, that's when you learn how to swing at that one. The one that starts in the strike zone and darts out is the one that's really hard, takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of time not to swing at.
What do you think his numbers could look like a couple of years from now, like an average season?
I hate to predict what numbers are going to be like in the future. You look at a guy like our shortstop who played here for 5 or 6 years.
Paul DeYoung?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Who would have predicted that? Who would have predicted that he would have been, He's 0 for his last 26, by the way.
After his 3 for 3 beginning in San Francisco?
No, he got a hit yesterday.
Oh, did he?
He got a hit.
Okay.
I know.
My bad. I watched part of that game.
No, it's way different. So now it's 1 for 27.
Okay. So, you just didn't see that coming. So I hate to say that. I don't think he'll do it because he's so talented, but I'm not going to say he's going to hit 300 with 30 home runs next year or 2 years from now.
Would another takeaway from this season be Wilson Contreras putting up similar numbers that he did when he was an all-star after being publicly humiliated, fighting through it, and ending up having a solid season? Would that be like, I mean, I don't know. There's no takeaways on the pitching staff at all. You kind of expected Nolan Arenado to be good, even though he's slumping right now. But I think Contreras rebounding after that public humiliation is one of the 5 biggest stories of the year. And moving forward, that he can be your guy, even though at one time, we got to get rid of him. This is an $80 million mistake.
Well, good for him, number one. I mean, good for him that he's come back. And good for the organization. Yes, Frank, I think it is a big story. I think the fact that he seems to be an emotional guy, obviously. He celebrates at a level that no other Cardinal does, even when he gets a base hit.
Yeah.
But that's his makeup. So you have to accept his emotional makeup. And right now he's emotionally in a good place. I mean, think about what he went through. Mm-hmm. At the time when they said he wasn't going to be catching. That is devastating. You're the number 1 free agent catcher. You come to this organization, you're replacing Yadi Molina, and all that, and then you're told, basically,
you're not good enough.
It was a mistake. He overcame that at this point. So going forward, I think you're going to get exactly what you've been seeing lately for the next couple of years.
All right, and then on the negative side, besides the Wainwright thing, would Michaelis be would he be like top 5 in terms of bad stories with his ERA in the 6s since late July? And, all early on we were hearing, soft contact. Well, I mean, I don't know. We say we get 2 pitchers coming back next year, he and Matz, and then you got to find 3. I mean, because of the amount they're paying Michaelis and because of his resume, you'd probably pencil him in. But
he's in. He's in.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of where.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some concern, though.
Of course, there's concern.
He's going to be 35.
He's going to be 35. I think the shifts have actually killed him. I think the inconsistency defensively early on hurt him also, and his stuff, let's face it, it's contact stuff. So he's really dependent on his defense elevating to the point where he can be a guy that can go 5 or 6 innings and only give up 3 runs. He doesn't have the ability, I don't think, except for a couple starts this year. Obviously, he has had some good ones. But man, I'm telling you, when the ball's in play all the time, bad things happen. If you're defense. Mm-hmm. And good things happen if you're facing them. Just put the ball in play. Good things are going to happen.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, where does he fit? Well, if we do what the Cardinals indicated they're going to do and what we think they should do, he'd be no higher than your number 3 starter. And as next season would develop, the rotation could evolve to where he's your 4 or 5 guy.
You hope he is.
Yeah.
Here's my question. If Michaelis is your 4th or 5th starter, you're in a good position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, can you imagine going into an offseason as we speak, like when the season ends in early October, your 2 starting pitchers returning are one guy who's had an ERA in the 6s since July, and the other guy who had like a good month and that's it. That's your rotation. Now, you could argue Zach Thompson, who actually has swing and miss stuff. I mean, the Cardinals' starting staff strikeout ratio is brutal. I think it's the 2nd worst in baseball.
Yes.
And Thompson actually, the other day, had 6 strikeouts, no walks, throws relatively hard. I like him a lot, but you got to put him in that slot of you're going to be one of 5 guys competing for the 5th spot.
He could be 5th. He's definitely a 5th, yes. But I got to believe he's going to be better. I mean, there's no issues with his arm.
No.
I mean, that's not an issue.
He got roughed up a little bit in his last outing and then kind of righted the ship and finished strong.
Right.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
How about this stretch here, or beginning this week, is you have 25 games, 22 are against teams with winning records.
Yeah.
You're 4 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates for last place, and now it's going to get brutal. I know things can change, and the Cardinals have good players, but man, welcome to Atlanta, Georgia tonight.
Yeah, well,
the weather changes too, Frank, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But
no.
It's not going to change.
Let me give you this real quick. Matt Olson, 44 home runs. Ronald Acuna Jr., 32 home runs. Marcell Ozuna, 32 home runs. Austin Riley, 32 home runs. Ozzie Albies, 28 home runs. Sean Murphy, 20 home runs. Eddie Rosario, 20 home runs. Orlando Arcia, 17 home runs. Michael Harris, 13 home runs. Oh, my gosh.
Well, the two on that list that are the most surprising, one is Ozuna.
Yeah.
Because each year it looked like, boy, is this going to be it for him? And even had a slow start this year, but he has been a monster the last, 6 weeks, 2 months? An absolute monster. And then the other one is Rosario. He seemed like a nice, solid everyday guy, but he has...
You know why he's doing well?
Being in that lineup?
Exactly. He doesn't have to.
No pressure.
There's no pressure, man. It's like... This is a lineup where if you're just an average or really average or above average, I think he's an above average probably player, obviously, with 20 home runs. It just, you go to the plate, it's like, my bros in front of me, they just hit a home run and a 2-run homer. The pressure's off. And you just relax and you go about your business. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and you had one of those situations in Pittsburgh when Bonds and Bonilla were hitting with you. And
absolutely.
Yeah, Jose Lean got on base. Who else did you have?
Well, we had Jay Bell. He was in
Solid
front of me.
Shortstop.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So my point is that if Matter's in the lineup, it's like,
Which did you see? They made that move today.
Yes.
Matter out, Fermin in.
Yeah, Fermin in, yeah.
Yeah. Matter on a major league team.
God love him. He got a few more paychecks. I'm happy for him.
No, this is nothing personal.
I know.
It's not. I'm just saying when you're talking about a major league roster, you think Matter's going to play for the Braves?
No chance. So.
No, it's just where we are right now, and next year's a new year, and if Matter's on the team, it'll be like this year.
Speaking of a new team, one guy we're going to knock off our free agent list is Julio Urias, arrested and charged with felony.
You can no longer. You're done. Your boy's done.
Yeah, that was his guy.
Oh, that was your guy. Oh, that's right.
Urias guy.
Not anymore.
But you were. See, character doesn't matter to you. You just want an arm. We care about character in our ball club, all right?
Frank, you would sign an axe murderer if he could win 25 games. And there's no question. That's undeniable. You would sign the guy and try and get him into an axe murderer program to try and get him well.
Depends of his curveball.
Right.
All right. What are we down to?
But let me just finish.
Okay, go ahead.
It was a shot. Well taken.
Thank you.
I accept it. But... It was the domestic violence thing's the last straw, but his performance lately has not been good. In fact, his last outing, it looked like he was just...
He looked like he didn't care.
It looked like he didn't care.
I watched him pitch.
Me too. It was like, what are you doing?
Guy throws 95 and he's just throwing nothing, flipping it up, changing it up, and curveballs.
It was crazy. You could tell something was going on.
He was told, I think, before that start that things aren't looking bright in his future.
Right. I think you're right.
Okay, so now we're down to...
So he's off my list.
Sonny Gray, Aaron Nola.
Nola just got lit up, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nola just blew up like a poison dog.
Maybe he just pitched as well against the Cardinals, which wouldn't help our cause.
No.
Stroman, who I don't think you guys are really high on. Giolito, who you don't want.
Oh, Giolito just blew up yesterday. Yeah. Bad. Real bad.
Speaking of blowing up, Jack Flaherty, almost an ERA in the 7s in Baltimore, and I don't think he can blame Wilson Contreras for bad starts in Baltimore, can he?
I don't think so.
And he had a good first start, too.
Yeah.
He did, but not since.
So of that group...
Is Sonny Gray maybe going to end up being the guy?
That makes sense. He's got swing and miss stuff.
I still like Nolan. I still think Nolan can pitch. I really do.
Well, and is there a problem with Snell? I mean, I know people say 5-inning pitch. Well, if you're leading the league in strikeouts and ERA, I think you're better than any Cardinal, right?
Yeah, I'm not down on him. I think the group, though, is now down to 3.
God,
he's had 9 starts with at least 7 strikeouts. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But what are the odds, knowing what we've known about the DeWitt family and John Mozeliak, that if there's only like 3 really good ones, that we're going to outbid all these and win one of these?
Well, you better, or those empty seats are going to be hanging around again.
Yeah, desperate times, desperate measures. You're in last place, Bill DeWitt. You have to do things out of your
comfort zone.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Just look around the ballpark. People aren't showing up.
No, they're not. Rightfully so. But I don't necessarily think you have to build a team to win this. I mean, to go out and spend a lot of money to win this division next year. I think it should be a 2 or 3 year plan, to be honest with you.
Well, no, you can't have a 2 or 3 year plan when you're the St. Louis Cardinals.
Sure,
and
you
you're
can.
asking 3 million people.
Sure, you can.
No. If you just finish in last place, you have got to be good right away again. You have everything.
I'm not saying you're not trying to be good. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't think you break the bank just thinking based on what they have right now, there's no way that they can build a team to get to the World Series next year. There's no way.
You don't think 2 pitchers and then a guy's getting better, like Walker getting better, Gorman getting better.
You know how many pitchers it's going to take to win the World Series next year? 8. 8 really good ones, Frank. There's not enough 8 good pitchers out there to put on the staff next year.
Are you saying, though,
because you have to have the bullpen. The bullpen.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
You can have the greatest starting staff in baseball in today's game.
Ask the Rangers.
Okay.
The Rangers are sinking fast.
My point being is you have to be able to finish games in today's game. It's just the way it is. And you better have at least 2 automatics, and 3 if you want to win the World Series.
Here's why the third pitcher that Mo has mentioned, he's bringing in 3, right? That's the number.
That's what he said.
The third one has to be Hader.
Or someone of that nature.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't pitch Tommy Edman, he's great. Yeah, I like him.
That's got to be your guy. You get, and your plan was a good one, Frank. The young man from Japan,
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, you get him. You get one of the guys we've already mentioned. If you can outbid people, you're right. They got to get out of their comfort zone, and then Hader. But as Andy points out, okay, who are your other 7 relievers?
You don't need 7. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, no, you say 8 pitchers.
I'm talking about 3 starters and then 4 or maybe 4-star, whatever. You got 2, so you only probably need 2 more really good ones. All right, but you got to have that bullpen because if you don't have a good starting bullpen, you're going to wear your bullpen out. And you're going to expose your weakness anyways. Right. So you got to have I believe in Whitey's theory. You build from the 9th inning back.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd like to think that would they acquire 6 or 7 pitchers at the deadline, that one of those guys will be able to help you, and that maybe one of the guys already in the minor league organization, maybe you expedite the learning curve with Tink Hence, and he's ready to be an 8th inning guy throwing 102 or something.
Well, there's a lot of maybes.
Yeah.
You don't know how it's going to play out, but regardless of the maybes, and even if you get lucky and everything comes up roses, you still need to go get pitchers and bring them in.
I'm still not off my Goldschmidt theory either.
Now, Ben Fred had an interesting thought today about that. Is you don't make the decision about Paul Goldschmidt now. Is it next year at the deadline, if he still has bat speed and this team's winning, then you say you extend him or you move him?
This winter. You got a lot of time this winter to do something. I know it sounds crazy. Trust me.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
But to me, it's when you don't trade a guy the right time, when he's in his 30s, who still has value, and Goldschmidt has value, but just looking at the way he's performed this year overall, he has value, and he's going backwards. And when you don't catch that train before it gets down the track too long, it's too late. And then you're not going to get anything in return if someone has any interest in it anyways. I just think the timing's perfect. I hate to see him go. He's my favorite, second favorite player on the team. But if we're going to have a serious discussion about having a winning team next year, I think he has to be in the conversation unequivocally. I don't think you can eliminate him from the conversations.
I think you're right. 3 months ago, I would have said, no way. In fact, I did on the other show with Nate Lucas. I did, and
3 months ago, he's the same guy who can't hit a fastball 3 months ago as he is today.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I was slow to recognize.
Oh, okay.
And I've come around. But you and Nate had been on this for quite a while, and it won me over as I'm paying attention.
Here's the thing. In St. Louis, that sounds so controversial. That wouldn't sound controversial in just about any other baseball city in America.
He had an 800 OPS in August. You know? I don't know. I think reports of his demise greatly exaggerate.
I didn't. Did I say demise?
But look, I'll grant you this.
That's my point. You're St. Louisan. You've been a Cardinal fan your whole life. You look at things emotionally, which is fine.
Yeah. But
I'm just looking at them practically.
If you finish 10 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates in your last place, anything's up for sure.
No, you're right. Frank this morning was baking cookies to send to Atlanta for the Cardinals.
I'm thinking about driving to Alton and betting my whole life savings on the Braves this week. Gosh, I don't even bet. I want to drive to Alton.